Hey y'all, welcome back to Hopped Up Beer Review. Today we are drinking O'Hara's Irish Red Nitro from Carlow Brewing Company out of Carlow, Ireland. Thank you for joining us.
Irish Red Nitro, go on, pour it slow. Irish Red Nitro, feel that velvet flow.
Hey everybody, welcome to Hopped Up Beer Review, the show where we give you our unprofessional, somewhat biased opinion about the beer that we are drinking and reviewing. Once again, we're back. Be excited. We are. There's Jay. There's Andy in the attic. I'm Ben. What are we drinking?
O'Hara's Irish Red Nitro. So let's see. Andy was over here petting his beer, so
I was wiping the condensation off because we had to wait a while for Ben. So my beer is sweaty.
Yours just took off like a rocket.
To the moon.
Yeah.
it says pour pause.
We're going to have time because clean up on Andy over there. Sounds like.
Pause.
The man acts like he's never poured a beer before. Or opened one, I should say.
He's pouring hard.
Yeah.
He wants to get that nitro effect.
That's creamy. Ben, come on. Y'all don't like head, I guess.
I just didn't pour out that way.
Nutty. Cheers,
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Who got itchy nose? Jay got itchy nose. Ooh, the head is. What's the name of that guy who does the? He's the Irish guy that does the Guinness. He's like, no, that's a creamer, or you never seen that guy? Wears the little hat. He's got suspenders.
No.
Oh, okay.
Not sure what you've been watching, but no, I haven't seen that.
Yeah. I can't. I'm trying to get through this head and get to the beer. Something
about waiting for me on this one? What were you saying earlier?
The head's good. That foam is really good. All right. Irish Red Nitro is an Irish red ale. It's 4.3%, 25 IBUs. They took their Irish red ale and amplified it with nitrogen. So they have a traditional Irish red ale, and then now they've got the Irish Red Nitro. This was the Nitro was added in 2014. It has malty caramel notes balanced with nutty biscuit. Yeah, I agree. It's good. Smooth and creamy traditional Irish red ale with hints of caramel and mild nutty biscuit, as they say on the can. This is produced by Carlow Brewing Company, but also known as O'Hara's Brewery. That's I guess, more of the brand, but the traditional brewery is Carlow Brewing Company in Carlow, Ireland. It's founded in 1996. It's an independent, family-owned, one of the pioneers of Irish craft brewery. or brewing, excuse me. Brothers Seamus and Eamon O'Hara were the main founders. They originally were more export focused because the Irish market was dominated by large macros, and of course Guinness. And O'Hara's brewery is, like I said, the consumer facing brand, and it's really called Carlo Brewing Company. And that's about it. I would figure from a 1996 brewery, when you look at the label or the can and all, you're like, and I'm sure this seems like a very updated font and style. This kind of reminds me of Bellhaven, what they did. They used to have that old school looking thing, so you thought it was older than it was. With a name like O'Hara's, Irish, it's, or you'd think it would be older than, what now, 30 years now? Yeah. It's just 30 year brewery. You would think, from the 1800s or something like 1700. I'm not detracting from the beer, but us fledgling nation compared to, the rest of the world, we think that everything is ancient because we're so young and nubile. So,
yeah, I mean, I think I looked at the can when I first saw it before I kind of realized it was an Irish brewery, and it looked more to me like, I mean, I thought like Aladdin, or
yeah, like a Middle East, Asia to Asia,
and
Western
then
Asia.
I mixed that with like there's a restaurant at Disney World called Ohana's, so I was all over the map on this.
Your minds are wandering, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so.
I do like on the can how they've got, and that's what I was petting my can for, Jay, while we were waiting to get the sweat, so you could see the little bit of decor on the can. It's hard to see. It's like the knots, like in sweaters, like the cables, and
yeah,
it's very deceptive.
All right, who's had this one before? No.
All right,
Jay, you know what that means? You're up. What do you think?
Well, I mean, the description is spot on. Like, it's smooth and creamy, and it has that notes of the mild nutty flavor. I don't get biscuit, but nutty flavor. And I'm torn between, is it more of a caramel or more towards a mild chocolate, if you will.
the
really.
scales are balanced, like they said, balance. It's not tipping one way or another.
Yeah, I don't care for it. I Nitros, I've never really gotten into them big time. So I wasn't a big Guinness drinker like you guys, so it's to me it's okay. But I mean it tastes. It'll sound bad, but more bland and boring.
Kind of like watered down.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give it a 6.5. I think it's good to try, and it's interesting with the history of it. You'd think, like you said, Andy, it would look and be a little different, but appreciate you sharing it with us.
All right, Andy.
This really reminds me. So since last year when I went to the UK, it reminds me of a lot of cask ales where they hand pump from cellar up into it. But because of the creaminess,
50 degrees temperature,
it gives that creamy mouthfeel, velvety and smooth. However, they were all in the similar ABV. It's just 4.3%. So it is much lighter than the beers that we typically review, especially us having come off of a 7.1%, the one before this one. So it tastes, and I think muted, watered down, but it's not. It doesn't. It's still got flavor, but when that alcohol bite, you can tell when there's some alcohol in a beer, or in this case when it's less. But I still appreciate that velvety cask ale feel to it, which is provided this way by the nitrogen gas. I'm a fan of nitro beers. I just like the way they feel and taste, and they create that great head on it that retains for a good while, because any other beer that we would have had, I still wouldn't have a little bit like this. But it tastes just like it just is described on the label. And it is balanced. I'm like you, Jay. I can't tell if it's more nutty or caramel, or biscuity or caramel. I give it 7.5. It's a good one, and I would have it again because I could imagine this being served in just a real pub, around the countryside,
as opposed to a fake pub.
Or like traditional Irish pub.
Yeah, my big question with this one is, you've got Guinness, you got Boddingtons that come in, same size can, that have a widget in them. Why does this not have a widget in it? And I mean, there is, I'm sure, a reason that I just don't know, but that's what I'm wondering, because I think, to your point, Andy, that helps create that kind of creamy, feel to the beer. And being a fan of both Guinness and Boddingtons, when I can get them in the can and they have the widget in them, as opposed to drinking like a Guinness in a bottle, I could see this, being along the same lines. If it had the widget in it, it was a little bit more creamy. I mean, it is creamy enough. It's creamy now, but you bump it up to where that nitrogen is getting released by the widget when you open it into the beer at that point. If I'm comparing this to a Guinness or a Boddington's, it's not quite as creamy as those to me. And I drink Guinness pretty regularly. It's more or less my filler beer, and I drink Boddington's when I can get it. Usually we have a few 4-packs here every bit when I go to the store, and so I'll grab as many as I can, depending on what new stuff they have. So between those two beers, I drink them quite a bit, and I think that's the one place here that would elevate this beer for me a bit more. I like it. If I could get it, I would buy it and probably drink it as a filler beer too at that 4, plus percent, because that fits right in line with the Guinness and the Boddingtons as well. For me, it's more nutty biscuit, and definitely I get the nutty on the back end on this one, which I like. I think it's a great flavor. But again, I think widget, man, widgets what it needs. So I'm going to give it a 7.5 as well. I like it. I drink it again. But just would love to have this on draft just to try it. Maybe like you said, Andy, if it's in a cask ale type situation, how does that change the beer from the can? So at that low ABV, I think it's got flavor, as opposed to what we normally see in the States in that ABV range. That will be a 7.2 for the O'Hara's Irish Red Nitro. Nitro. Where's the widget? That's just what I want to know. If somebody knows why this doesn't have a widget, please let me know, because that's the burning question in my brain here. Leave a comment, jump in our Hopped Up Beer Review Discord server. Tell us, where is the widget?
I think mine has one. Did you hear it?
No, we need the old lady saying, "Where's the widget?" instead of "Where's the beef?" If you catch that reference, then you're old like us. Be sure to like, subscribe, cheers that notification bell. Check out all the links down below for Hopped Up Beer Review merch, Hopped Up Beer Review Patreon, Hopped Up Beer Review Discord, Hopped Up Beer Review suspenders, whatever. It's all there. Check it all out. And hopefully we will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching this video and making it this far. For Andy in the Attic and Jay, I'm Ben. Cheers, mates.
Just mates.
Yes.
Irish Red Nitro. Go on, pour it slow. Irish Red Nitro.